think I was listening to so Francis Ngannou's back in MMA.
Yeah, I saw his last fight.
Yeah, and
take very long. You fucked that guy up.
What was his name? He's an influencer, fitness influencer. He's Canadian. His name escapes me right now. But
was he a young guy?
Yeah, a younger guy.
That Tim.
It's bodybuilder.
Oh, the whole fitness influencer, like which, is he the one?
Hold on. What the hell
Greg Doucette?
No.
He's not
he's not young.
The other guy.
He's older than us.
The Tim something. No.
I'll try to find it here, but
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. What the fuck is his name? I'm not going to waste time looking for it, but if I remember it, I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
It's I was watching one of his, and he did a video with Francis Ngannou. He's never fought before, right? He's a bodybuilder. And one thing his trainer said was like, yeah, don't look at the eyes. You got to look at the chest. You got to look where the chest is going. And I recognized that, I guess subconsciously I was doing that, but now I'm actually actively doing that. Like, okay, chest, shoulders, hips. Where are they going? What's going on? Yeah. And I think that's helped a lot. So.
Yeah. It definitely does. For sure. I usually look at their shoulders. Like where they're leaning.
The shoulders.
Because even for me, like even when I watch tape of myself, I see myself leaning. I'm like, oh yeah, and I miss a takedown. I'm like, oh okay, yeah, they saw that because they were like, I was leaning so hard into it. It was a given. I think I know you two are talking about.
Yeah.
The young guy.
What is his name?
Yeah. I forgot his name, but yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. But
yeah, now I'm stuck on this, so our conversation is derailed.
Yeah,
I can see his face.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's not Johnny Shreve.
Yeah, it's a white guy, right?
Yeah, it's a white guy.
Yeah, his hair's come part down.
Yeah. He's a good-looking dude.
I know who you're talking about. Shit. Yeah, forget about it.
Okay, let's move on.
I think I was gonna talk about something in the beginning. Then
we do that, don't we? Where we were gonna talk about something and then we got started on gorillas.
Yeah, very Joe Rogan-esque.
Yeah. Was it something to do with Jiu-Jitsu?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, like we were talking about music, right? Like.
A couple.
It's like the new game today, right? Gi versus no gi. And like even the gi game itself, it's faster now. It's like you remember like playing gi back in the early 2000s. You could be fucking in somebody's half guard for like 4 minutes and 59 seconds.
Oh,
it's so brutal. They just lock you down, just holding like lapels, and you're just fighting like fucking. It's a grip battle within another grip battle. So stupid. And then you would finally pass their guard, and you get the fucking points, and the battle will be over. It's so fucking dumb. Now even in the gi game now they don't even like That's not even like that anymore. At least not as much. It's like a lot faster pace. It's more dynamic. Before it was just like, the whole saying like position before submission.
Yeah.
Dude, now people it's like submission to get position. Like it's like totally different. Like I'll apply submissions now, knowing that they would give up position, so I can get
something else.
Yeah, it's way different now. It's not like solid. That like there's not these like, these stubborn like die hard like rules that you need to abide to anymore.
I mean, even in the gi that I've been doing, because I know you don't do gi, I found that there's a lot less stalling.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
For sure.
I mean, it's definitely, you got the grips thing, like, you got hard positions, and it is slower, but there's a lot less just grinding, which sucked.
That made Jiu-Jitsu absolutely not fun. It was just so boring.
When you're just stuck and you were having to slowly worm your way towards something that wasn't what you were in, and you had to fight for every millimeter, and people were just holding on for dear life. Mm-hmm. And it's something that I've told a couple of the white belts, because obviously they don't know, where it's like, and even my professor said, it's like, don't hold on for dear life. Like I remember this situation. I wasn't in it, but I heard it across the gym where this one guy was just starting a mount, and I guess we had done a mount day, right? Like submissions and stuff to do for mount. And he, this kid was just on there, and he was on top, and he was just bear hugging the guy on the bottom for dear life, who the guy on the bottom was more skilled than him. And just not letting the guy on the bottom do anything. And it was like, it just reminded me of the old days. And the prof was just like, "What are you doing? What you have mount. Attack. Don't attack. Don't just sit there."
Yeah. I'll just sit there if they like bucking me off or something.
Yeah. If you're riding cowboy style, which happens, fine. But like, if you have position, even if you lose the mount, there's like he's shown plenty of other things that you can do. And sometimes he's even said sometimes you're gonna get the points and give up mount for something else. If your partner's just being stubborn on the bottom, right? You can't move his hands and whatever. Well, there's like 15 other things you can do. So don't just sit there. That's boring.
Yeah.
Right? You already got the points. Like maybe if it's in a tournament, sure, you can waste your time wearing down. But like, don't do that.
Yeah, it's for sure. But that was the game before, man.
Yeah.
It was like until you got to a certain level. But like from like white belt to purple belt back in the day, I felt like it was such a stalling game. It's like the ones who succeeded in Jiu-Jitsu back in the day were the ones who figured out like, oh shit, like
how do I
not stall?
Yeah.
It's like how I don't need to like grind things out. You know, like
you can be loose with it.
Yeah, exactly. Those were the guys that were like really like elevating their head of the time, that kind of thing, ahead of the game.
I think that's why my hands hurt so much.
When you do gi?
When not now,
like back
then.
Oh yeah, dude.
Back then, your hands were just like hurting all the time. You had the claw thing going on, like they just wanted to like curl in on themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, I can't let go of the gi. Yeah, you can, because you can always put your hand back.
No, once you get a grip, you're like, yeah, never let go of the grip.
I have a lapel grip. I shall never let this go.
Dude,
it's like so.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And then if you were the one stuck with a guy with just refusing after your neck, you're just like, oh my god, oh, that all hurts, because he's just like reefing down on your neck for.
Dude, I used to get a lot of back
minutes.
pain, lower back pain, when I was doing gi.
Yeah.
Tons of lower back pain. And the guys were just pulling me down, so it was like fighting. Yeah, dude.
Keep trying to posture.
Yeah, when I do no-gi now, and even before when I used to do no-gi, it was just like I always felt better. It felt so much better in my body. No-gi was, for me personally, I know like people like there's some people out there still who think no-gi is a young man's game. It's not. It's skill.
I disagree.
No, look, we're older. We're 39. We're going to be 40 soon. I mean,
a few months.
Yeah, so there's no way I'm not trying to be. If you want to feel like old man, do gi.
Yeah.
Do gi forever, and you'll feel like old man. I see all these guys on YouTube. They're like black belts or brown belts, and they're old, and their like bodies are falling apart. And then they go do no gi, and they're like, oh, can't do no gi. It's a young man's game. I'm like, and
because they think it's all about speed.
Yeah, and they're brown belts and black belts, and the thing is like. They go put on the gi. They're always using the gi, and they're like, "Dude, you're fucked up because you're doing the gi.
Yeah.
Take the gi away, and then like, just do months and months and months of no gi. Suffer through the fact that you're going to be out position, out speed, out strength
for sure.
And then you'll figure out your game. Figure out. Yeah.
I'll defend the gi just a little bit. You're not really attacking the gi. I'm just saying. In that. Going to a gi class once a week, I've actually taken some stuff, and it could just be because different instructors, different coaches, you get different points of view, different theories on how to do jiu-jitsu, different concepts, and some different moves, right? But I've taken some of the stuff from gi and been like, oh, I can apply this to no gi, right? This isn't just like not obviously clock chokes and shit like that, baseball jab chokes, but like some stuff about sweeps, right? And it's like. Great. That will apply perfectly in this situation in no-gi. Great. Yeah. And it's not something that you might get exposed to in a no-gi class because they're teaching more depending on the instructor, more leg locks, they're focusing on more of the modern no-gi game. But then you go to a traditional gi and you're like, oh, that sweep works exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like there's no difference.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little easier in the gi because you got the grips, but it's the same thing. And it's something I never would have thought about before, right? So there are times where I think it's beneficial to, at least see what's happening in the gi. Because it is very traditional. Like I don't think the game has evolved that much. Because there could be some stuff that you're not going to learn in modern gi, no gi. But I don't think no gi is a young man's sport. I think maybe if you've been doing gi for 10 years and you're stubborn and don't want to learn leg locks like they do in the gi, maybe then
that's
a personal issue.
That's
not
a
I think
game changer. They make it out to like not all like old guys make it out to be like, oh, it's a young man's game. This and that. I think it's a real mindset, and also like how much damage have you taken, like to your body, like or what's left of your athletic ability. We talked about this before.
Yeah. Hey, I'll just put this. My elbow has been fucked up. I've had some tennis elbow in my left arm, and I finally caved and got a brace for it. And I don't wear it all the time, but I wear it quite a lot. And Anaconda, if you want to sponsor us, it works great.
It's Anaconda?
It's I bit the social media bullet. I'm like, well, I'll give it a try. They're having a sale. And I put that thing on, and the next time I rolled, I was like, holy shit.
Feel better.
It worked. Sponsor us, Anaconda. I give you my seal of approval. We are not sponsored by anybody. This is just us on our spare time. But yeah, sorry to cut in, but I thought it was relevant.
I forgot my point.
Damage to your body.
Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, from the gi.
I mean, if you feel like beat up like an old person and you're like, you don't want to do no gi, I mean, like, you're going to feel just as bad in gi. I think the only caveat is that you can stall harder or stall easier or longer in the gi. So then it'd be like, oh, okay, it feels better because like you can really lock things down, play like a worm guard or lapel guard and just stall the game. So it feels like, okay.
The difference, sorry, you finish your point. I've interrupted you.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's just like you can stall it. So there's, oh, okay, I'm not getting my ass kicked as much because I have this ability to play these super defensive guards. And it's like, okay. But then it's like, you're not really getting the full experience of Jiu-Jitsu, right? Jiu-Jitsu, you want the submission part is really important. Dude, I remember when we first started Jiu-Jitsu again, we went back to the gyms and, obviously no-gi. I was telling you, like, my God, there's like a million submissions flying at you and you can't hold position forever. You have, okay, it's like, oh, get here, whatever, side mount, this and that. In the gi, you could just fucking pin people down with the gi. This is like, it's so much of a feel to it. It's like, oh, dude, I'm tight here, hip on hip. He's not going anywhere. And then, or something that's like it's complete opposite. It's like, fuck this, I gotta transition quickly to the next thing, and from there, it's like you're free flowing. So much more free flowing. You have to be on the ball.
It makes submissions harder in a way because
what, in no-gi?
In no-gi, because you're flowing, right?
Yeah. But you have to constantly attack with submissions in order to progress. Whereas in the gi, you don't have to.
You don't have to. Yeah. What I was going to say about damage to the body is like stalling in gi creates damage to the body.
Well, no.
Yeah, because you're constantly tense.
Yeah, it's like
isometric. Right? So you're putting a lot of pressure on the tendons, right?
So your hands.
And your hands. And your feet, if you're doing the spider guard and shit. And tendons take a lot longer to heal than muscles.
Yeah.
If you, I don't know if you know who the Trend Twins are.
Oh yeah, I think most would.
Yeah. So Buddy popped his pec, right?
He's on fucking Trend.
He's on Trend, yeah. Jesus, Trend Twins. Go fucking figure. But he's doing like a 585 bench, single rep.
Fuck,
And he failed it 3 days before, if you didn't know that. So he probably should have waited a little while longer, but whatever.
I'm not surprised. They're like kind of barbaric with the way they train.
So anyways, he popped his pec. And one thing I was listening to a doctor talk about, it's like muscle recovery is a lot faster than tendon.
Yeah.
Right? And I was thinking about that in context of jiu-jitsu. Like, it takes your muscles like anywhere from 2 days to 2 weeks to really recover, depending on the muscle group. Whereas tendon is like 6 to 10 weeks.
Yeah.
to really catch up. Sometimes, depending on the tendon, it can be up to 6 months, like half a year for it to really harden and get used to it. And I've seen about in the gi, because in the gi, if you're stalling all the time and it's isometric, it's transferring that load from your muscles to your tendons, right? And you're wondering why people are like, my shoulder's fucked. I think it's my rotator cuff. It's not your rotator cuff. It's all the tendons attaching it. My elbow's fucked. My knee is fucked. It's all the tendons. And if you're just holding, like you're not moving, and it's just a straight isometric hold, your muscles aren't taking all of that load. They can't.
Yeah.
They're meant to move, not stay rigid. So your tendons are picking up the slack, and you're wondering why you're walking like a chimp.
Yeah. I'll say this. I feel better now at our advanced age doing no-gi more and doing jiu-jitsu more frequently in the week than I did back in the day training twice a week with the gi. When I was like 21 years old. I feel way better.
I got a lot more headaches back then than I do now.
Yeah, I remember. With the gi. Yeah, you had headaches. Dude, I was just my back was killing me all the time and my hands were fucked. I was like, dude, this like I'm like, I guess this is part of the sport, you know.
It's just you get beat up.
No, because I gotta be tougher, you know. Get used to it. Dude, all those guys we train with, not all, but the vast majority of them that's still doing it, dude, their bodies are so banged up,
wrecked,
and they still train the gi. I mean, God.
But don't get me wrong, I like going to gi once a week, just because it gives me more jiu-jitsu. Like I said, there are some benefits to learning that stuff, but I don't go ham.
Yeah.
Right, like we used to.
Oh, it's a fucking war, man.
Yeah. I've chilled out a whole bunch, especially when I do the gi, and I find no gi, there's a lot more, and maybe this is why they're like it's a young man's sport. It does tax my cardio a lot more.
What, the no gi?
The no gi, right? Because you're constantly moving. I find it easier in my body, but like my cardio had to catch up a lot.
Oh yeah, I agree. Initially, God,
and I think maybe that's why some people are like, well, it's a young man's sport. It's like, well, once you start doing it 2-3 times a week, your cardio isn't going to be a 22-year-old's. It's not. It's not. But it won't be as bad. You'll like your heart and lungs recover pretty quick.
Yeah,
and I mean within like minutes of the roll ending, right? As long as you don't give yourself a heart attack.
I mean, like you feel worse during, but you feel better after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say that about like the gi. If like you're going hard in the gi, you just fucking feel terrible during and after, and maybe even before. It's like, I mean, I'm not crapping on the gi. If you like the gi, go ahead. I'm just saying that the benefits, you know, the cons do not outweigh the pros of the gi. Like whatever you imagine about jiu-jitsu giving you these health benefits, or like, you know, like
the gi will make it worse.
The gi will make it worse.
It'll just transfer whatever's fucked up to whatever new is fucked up.
Don't take the outliers of the gi and don't take the outliers of no gi and compare them. Take the average person who does primarily gi or gi all the time versus the average jiu-jitsu practitioner who does no gi. You're going to see the better athlete, the more explosive athlete, the healthier person in no-gi. And the funner, the person who's doing no-gi is having way more fun. Way more fun. People say, oh yeah, but you know, if you put the gi on, like the no-gi guy is not going to be able to fight. Why would the no-gi guy fucking fight? Like, okay, if the no-gi guy fought a gi guy, and the gi guy wore his gi, dude, the no-gi guy is going to have advantage. We're talking about equal skill. All
you got to do is remember, if you're a no-gi guy going to gi, you just guard your neck a little bit more. That's it. No, seriously. Because the only difference is the lapel with the chokes, right? Mm-hmm. And so...
I'm just going to rip heel hooks.
Sure. Rip heel hooks. Fuck that. But my point is, like, if you somehow they get you in turtle or side mounts or rear, right? You just guard your neck a little bit more because you got all the different types of chokes that you don't have in no-gi. That's it.
Yeah,
you can do the exact same stuff you do in no-gi and gi. Everything still works.
Yeah,
there is nothing that doesn't work.
I would say that, like, if you are in law enforcement, and particularly in law enforcement,
gi would probably be
the gi would be something that you should You don't have to, but
you should practice
like once a week at
Yeah,
least.
yeah.
Because it's good to know, like, oh, this guy's got like a North Face jacket. Okay, now he's going to go flying because I'm gonna take that. You know, it's just it's another added layer, like literally
Yeah.
a layer that you can attack. That's important. But if in terms of competition, like there's zero reason why you should be wearing the gi. Dude, not every single, like 90+% of gi attacks is based on the fact that you're wearing
the gi.
I am wearing the thing that you can attack me with.
Yeah,
What the fuck would I want to wear it? I'm gonna take it off.
Yeah.
Now you cannot attack my lapel because I have no fucking lapels.
Well, yeah, everything, clock chokes, baseball bat chokes,
Bow and arrow chokes.
bow and arrow chokes.
It's my favorite.
I did that to a guy yesterday.
Dude, I love bow and arrow chokes.
That was fun,
dude.
Yeah, I did it to a guy yesterday, and it is fun to do. But like, you're absolutely right. If we're at the beach, and all you know is gi chokes,
Dude.
that's gonna be a rough day for you.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a rough day for you.
It was a rough for me because almost all of my submissions were based on the gi and lapel.
Yeah.
And so when I went back to no gi, dude, I had like no submissions. I was like, I took the back. I'm like, I'm looking for a fucking
collar to choke.
Like, dude, to do the bow and arrow choke. So many times I've done the bow and arrow choke. I knew I wasn't going to get it, but I did it.
You did it because you can stall.
I did it so I can get on top. Yeah, it's like because I wanted to mount the motherfucker or side mount them. It's like, oh, okay, I'm not having success here, but I could do this half-ass, shitty like bow and arrow choke. Yeah, to get momentum, dude. And I'll grab the pads, I'll just reef it, and even if he escapes, I cause so much distress to him, and he's
so taxed,
dude. It was just like, but you can't do that in no-gi. Like you have to literally be good at submissions.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, I do find that, especially against same belt levels or lower belt levels, I can rip more submissions, especially from side mount. Mm-hmm. I got a pretty heavy side mount.
And you can take your time.
Yeah, and I can take my time, and you can pull out the lapel. It's like, and there we go.
Yeah, you so much leverage.
You so much leverage. Whereas in no-gi, it's like you said, you're like, I'm gonna go for this submission. In no way do I expect to get it, but it'll get me to the next spot.
Exactly.
And then I'll get a position. And then I'm going to try this submission. That's why I do, if I get mount, I try the Ezekiel on people, like a no-gi Ezekiel, which you can do. Mm-hmm. Greg Jones does it too. And people are like, why are you doing that? Because it's going to bring your hand up.
Yeah.
To defend that, I have no expectation of submitting you with it.
Yeah.
But it's going to bring your hand up. And when it brings your hand up, I can bring my knee up.
Yeah.
And now I'm on a high mount, which before when you were just like, cock blocking me here with your hands, and I can't.
Yeah.
I know the whole like go under it and push. Yeah. Well, if the guy's stupid strong or he's defending like this, right? Well, that's a lot of wasted energy. So you fake the Ezekiel. Oh, he brings his hand up because he doesn't like a fist in his face. Knee up. Now I have a high mount. Now I can do something, right? Yeah. Whereas in gi, I'd be like, fuck it, I'm just going to Ezekiel. I have the sleeve. I have so much more leverage.
Yeah.
I'm just going to reef it and you bring your hand up. I'm just going to keep pushing my fist until you can't. It either hurts too much or you choke. Yeah. One or the other. And, yeah,
Yeah, and buddy, do you guys really want to wear a fucking gi in the summer?
No.
35 degrees.
Thank God this gym I go to has air conditioning. But even it was August.
Still, like, but you want to be like.
Our old gym didn't have AC.
God.
And so it would be August, and they had like one door. It wasn't even a garage door. It was just a door.
A door.
And it was like so 45 degrees in there. So that's 110 for the Americans in the room.
Yeah.
And you're wearing this, imagine like winter pajamas.
You're wearing this fucking rug on you. And dude, and when you take your gi off, it's like, you can stand it up. It's like so soggy. It's so heavy. You got like 4 pounds of sweat in this thing. It's so heavy.
Yeah. It was great for losing weight.
I felt like shit after it. Like it just like you. It was, and then
that's
the winter,
back before we knew about electrolytes too. We just had Gatorade, so we had like.
Oh, you had Gatorade. I have fucking just plain water, man.
Well, yeah, it's like
cramping up like crazy.
You're dehydrated and want to like pass out.
But in the winter, it was the opposite. It was like 20 minutes to warm up.
Oh yeah,
so
they didn't really have any heat in there.
We had like 2 space heaters that didn't.
Yeah, I think I have more space heaters in my small office.
Yeah, you do
today than they had in that gym.
Dude, it's so brutal.
And
absolutely fucking.
You'd be doing the warm up, and every even as 20-year-olds, our bones would be creaking because they're like, it's too fucking cold in here.
Yeah, and then the warm ups were another like.
I'm so glad. Even the warm up, the one coach does that I do now, only takes like 10 minutes tops.
Oh god, that's 10 minutes too long. Like I do stretching on the side and air squats like on my own.
Well, that's it. Like, remember when we used to do push-ups, and it's like, just go do push-ups. Okay, you're done doing push-ups now. It's been 7 minutes. All right, do push-ups with the clap. Like, you had to.
Those should have been first.
And you do like 15 minutes of push-ups. Now the guy's like, we do 2 rounds of 10 push-ups. That's it. You're warm. Like, the entire point is actually a warm-up. It's not a workout.
Dude, yeah, exactly. It reminds me of this guy. He was a trainer at this at this place on West Pender. This is when one of the guys we're training with, the firefighter.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He was training MMA and all this stuff and doing jiu-jitsu at this other gym in West Pender downtown, and I was there, and I think it was not like Tom. He was running the warm up, I think, and it was so brutal. And like this guy's a freak athlete, man. He's like a former collegiate, like a rower or whatever, or a javelin thrower.
Rowing is hard.
Oh, it's brutal. But yeah, he was like, he's like, yeah, this guy's like a top level athlete. And he's like, if the point of a warm up is to warm up, I think we're well past it. I'm like, and I looked at him, and I was like, yes, buddy, say it louder,
say it,
please. Say it. And then it was so archaic, man.
You get like halfway through the warm up, which is now turned into a workout, and then like, all right, jump, touch your toes 40 times.
It's like retarded.
It's like, why?
Why? When?
I'm already covered in sweat and out of breath.
I'm not here to get in fucking shape. I'm here to do jiu-jitsu. Like, if I want to
and then you get to technique, which is done the old school way, which we're going to show a move. And, like, you can't even focus on what's being shown because you're so systemically fucked.
So fucked.
Like, you're like, hey, where did you put that hand? There's no hand involved. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and then... And after that, it's like the battle of fucking to the death.
Yeah. So you'd have a 2-hour class, and like 30 to 45 minutes of it is this warm-up. Yeah. 20 minutes to 25 minutes is technique, and then it's just death roll.
Yeah, 3 to 5 rounds of death roll.
But
I can't remember, correct me if I was wrong, we didn't really get to choose who we roll with back in the day, right?
Not so much. Like, the white belts kind of stuck with the white belts.
I mean, like,
blue belts would come in and choose somebody, but our professor would kind of like pair people up.
Okay, good. I wasn't just imagining that.
Yeah, after the first round, first or second round, then you gotta kind of choose.
Okay, I thought the last couple rounds.
The last couple rounds was kind of like, okay, you can figure it out. But yeah, and there's definitely times where it was like, I don't want to say his name. It was like, Sam, go with him, and I just be like, God, fuck, no.
I don't know.
Can't I start with anybody else? I'm gonna get hurt.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I'll tell you later.
Okay, dude, there was one guy in particular I did not like rolling with. He's from across the ocean, from across the pond.
I don't remember him.
Yeah, he's British.
Not ringing a bell.
Okay, he was a British guy. Actually, he was a bit of a pompous prick, and not because he's British.
He just was. Yeah.
It just happened. Yeah. And then I hated it because he would just put lockdown and half guard, and he just clamped down for his life, like his life depended on it. And then he would just keep talking. I said, like, how come you? He's like
was he trying to coach you?
He's coaching me. He's like, oh, I can't. I was like, how come you can't pass my guard? Or, like, he's so condescending. I'm like, bitch, you have me in lockdown. You have applied zero.
He's done this, and he's wrapped it.
Yeah,
and he's
you applied zero offense.
Foot under the other foot, and he just sits there.
You have applied zero offense.
Boring.
I'm gone. I'm guard. I'm trying to pass guard. I'm going for submissions. You have literally stalled. You want to have a grip battle and a lockdown battle. Like, dude, you're fucking boring. Take this gi off and see what fucking happens.
But that was also before we knew, like, we didn't get taught the tripod stuff for passing half guard.
Bro, like,
which is
fuck our own selves up. Badly.
It was a game
changer.
It was a game changer. It's like, oh, now I don't mind. I always used to hate getting a half guard because I have to wiggle that foot out and the foot would get caught.
Dude. I got a couple things I want to show you.
I know.
You probably have some couple things to show.
But no, it was Man, it was a different world.
It's looking back, it was like torture. I was like, oh my god. Like compared to today, the where you're allowed to think, the free rolling, you can be inquisitive. You don't have to be afraid of like be reprimanded if you say the wrong fucking thing. Like
also, you didn't get
so
reprimanded if you missed class for whatever reason.
Oh, dude,
like my new professor has said this to another guy. He's like, I've never ever asked you why weren't you here, but I have told you you're here too much and you took a break.
Yeah.
That is a completely different mindset.
Yeah.
Completely different mindset
Yeah.
than back in the day.
Yeah, and being late too was such a big deal.
Yeah.
It's like now I'm like, no, and you know, to be, we're talking about shit, but to be fair, our old place was way like more progressive than other gyms. It was like probably the most
at the time.
Yeah, at the time,
yeah.
easily. It was like the most liberal.
Well, they had to.
It was so liberal, but compared to
well, they had to accommodate the Canadian psychology, right?
Yeah,
coming up here, so they had to adapt a bit.
Yeah, but all these other places, dude, they were so strict. Even even currently where you're training, initially it was really strict.
Yeah, no, they've had to evolve grossly.
Crazy strict.
I think that goes along with like, as you go over time, like, and you brought this up, Jiu-Jitsu up from Brazil, and like the coaches get trained up to be black belts. It's like, you know what? All that shit that I had to go through wasn't. Well, there's two. There's the Brazil, when they came up, they're like, you're gonna go through it. But now the new coaches that went through that shit, they're like, that wasn't worth it. Like, that didn't make me this good. Yeah. So why am I going to torture my students with it? Let's make this a little more fun. Let's make this a little more educational. Yeah. And less torturous. Because that didn't create top tier champions. Not really.
No, just for broken down people who stop at purple belt and just fucking leave.
Blue belt.
Blue belt. Like, you're so broken. Yeah. The pressure too.
Yeah. Well, I think there's that. Sorry.
No.
You go.
Oh no, I'm just saying the pressure, the culture. We went to the gym that we went to because they were ahead of its time in terms of technique, in terms of culture.
I'll give you that.
And think about that. Just think about it. Like, we're complaining about it now, but because we're comparing it to today. But back then, it was literally the most progressive jiu-jitsu gym you could go to in Canada. 100%. And then, because before all these other places, dude, people were like just pulling guard like from fucking double guard posts. The place we were training at was like, don't pull guard, just fight from the top. Why would you want to concede position? And if you do pull guard, it's like, make sure you go for the sub. And it was like very different. Like, it was like ahead of its time. But
we haven't talked a lot of shit, but the professor is a genius in the art of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah. I don't know how the current culture is. Current culture, so it could be completely like different. But back then, we're pretty accurate with like how we're talking. Maybe one day we'll get somebody on here who
trains in that area,
like from the past, to make sure that we're just like,
just to confirm.
Yeah, we don't, because we're just, this is a bit of
it's our collective memory. It's a circle jerk. Yeah,
it's a bit of a circle jerk. We're just it's easy for us to shit on it because it's like.
And I'm gonna say this. I don't regret going at all.
Dude, zero regret. Zero regret. Regret how it ended.
Yeah.
But like, no, I think we're young. We left pretty real. I left when I was 22 and 23. So I had some issues, and you left for school, and it was
school. And I had that.
But there's no doubt.
Infection.
But there was no doubt that you, me, and the guys that we trained with, like the collective group, all the blue belts that left, we left because we were burnt out.
For sure.
We were so burnt out. It was just like it's constant. Like fucking bohada.
I was gonna say, like, people. Nice word. People who leave at blue belt today, I think it's more because they expect more of themselves. When they get their blue belt, they're like, "Oh, I have a blue belt. I should actually be good at this." And we being blue belts are like, "No, we still kind of suck.
Yeah.
Like, we got a long way to go." So you get to blue belt and you expect to actually, you put all that emphasis on getting that belt, and now you have a color and
one step closer to being Gordon Ryan.
And then you start actually rolling with maybe some of the higher level belts at a higher level, and they start putting some, and you're like, "Oh God, no, I got a long way to go," and you get that disillusionment, but. Back in our time, way back when, it was like, I'm just fucking tired.
It's exhausted.
My body hurts, my brain hurts, my back hurts.
Yeah.
I can't keep this up.
I think like, but I would say this, like back in the day, like if someone was a brown belt or black belt, they were like these mythical creatures though. Like in the gym, they're like ooh, like they were like
you survived.
Not just that, like they were like so far ahead, but there was so much gatekeeping with technique. You ask like, and we're comparing, contrasting. Like they were more open, like where we were. But still, like compared to today, you'd be like, "Hey, how do I do this?" They would show you, but then they would leave certain things out there. Like you almost like they did because they felt obligated, but it was like, "Yeah, you'll figure out your own."
Well, it was funny. Speaking of how
now it's different.
Yeah, now you have.
They'll just tell you straight up.
BJJ fanatics, so there's like no.
There's no point in
gatekeeping.
You can't gatekeep.
What was funny, I remember one of the black belts. Speaking of progressive, how progressive they were at the time, and he did DVD tutorials.
Still does.
Still does.
He's quite famous, actually.
And that was unheard of.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, you're just telling people how to do this shit on a DVD? Like, you're just giving... obviously, you're selling it, but, I could just buy this and watch it?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, in the gym, you'd be like, hey, man, how do you do this? And they'd like, well, here's how you sort of do it. Okay, but how do I really do it? Yeah, just keep trying that, and you'll get it.
Because they're so busy with their roles. But even after class, when you ask them, they're like, "Oh, we gotta get out of here." They were like in a hurry to get out. They didn't want to teach no fucking shitty ass white belts and blue belts. Like,
I mean, that's their. To be fair to them, that's their prerogative. If they don't want, like,
well, it was like all of them.
They're not teaching a class, so why do I want to teach you? Yeah. But like, it did discourage you as someone trying to learn.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, I should just shut my mouth.
Or they go, we'll ask the professor, and you're kind of like, I don't want to. He scares me.
It's like, and it's because the standard was like, you get shown, you get an answer, and then it's like, then you have to do it, and you're like, it didn't work.
You have to do it that way.
It's like, yeah, but I show you the perfect technique.
Yes, it's perfect. I'm like, of course it's perfect, but
you're doing it.
I am not perfect.
Yeah.
I am an imperfect creature.
Yeah. It's like, so I need help here. And it's like, yeah, but I showed you. Now go practice. I'm like, okay. And dude.
Can I get a diagram?
Yeah.
Can I get an Etch-a-Sketch?
Dude,
something to help me?
It's so different. Now it's like, there's more nuance. It's like, there's like this, you'd be showing the techniques, like, but if it doesn't work, you don't have to force it. You can do this instead. There's an alternative, like, because not every single technique is going to work for everybody, right?
Well,
sometimes it just like mentally, you just doesn't jive with you.
Well, I do like that progression where it's like, okay, we're going to start with this. Okay, if that doesn't work, go to this.
Yeah.
If that doesn't work, go to this. And if that doesn't work, you can always restart here.
Yeah. And the chaining, before it was like, you do a certain guard pass, it's like, this guard pass should work. Like, what? Yeah. Like this guard pass should work. And then, no, I mean, like, if you do it right, and if you do it right,
how they it wasn't chained together; it was a segment.
Oh, dude, yeah. So now, like, I'll get somebody on their back, and I used to, the habit that we had before. I don't know if you have. You literally just walk into people's half guard and let them set everything up. Like, I don't do that shit anymore. I go to a split squat. And like, straight away to like a knee cut, even, and then sometimes if I do go into their half guard, I immediately blast a knee cut that I know that's going to fail. Then I'll fight from the underhook on the fail position, and if I can beat the underhook, then I go straight chest to chest. I do a reverse katame, and then I'll fight the leg. Dude, it's like chaining guard passes together, and then that fails.
Well, I'll switch up
that's
guard
better.
Passes for sure. Like, if I try a knee cut and end up in half guard, then I'll, I can't remember all the things I do. Like, I can't explain it perfectly, but yeah, then I'll switch this, or I'll even turn my back now and be like threaten from half guard to pull a leg lock.
Yeah, I do that too.
And then switch back so I can get the underhook.
Yeah.
So I can get chest to chest and pull up and do a tripod. And then the tripod's not working, so I'll switch this underhook, go double under to get a different version of it. Move the knee to one side, move the knee to the other side. Okay, now I'm in 3/4 mount. Okay, I'm gonna sit back, do something else. Before it was just. Okay, you've got your Put your shoulder on his head. Keep it there, and just put your foot here, and that's the guard pass.
Yeah, but in between, what do you do? No, just do that. Just do that. I'm like, but in between, like,
what if he's pushing me off?
Exactly.
No, just move the hand. Just move the hand.
Just move his hand. Just like that.
This actually directly relates to the person that I'll tell you about after. Like, just move the hand. And it's like, no,
man. It was.
I can't.
It was totally ridiculous. I don't even know how. Oops, what happened here?
Oh, just run out of power.
Yeah, it's not hard. Yeah, it's okay.
We're coming up on an hour and a half, or we're just over an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was totally different, and we're shading on it now, but back then it was fucking fantastic.
And I think we're just realizing the difference now. we're not really trying to shit on it.
It's compare and contrast.
I'm saying, but compare and contrast how it's evolved, really.
Yeah, and it's because I think we're having
more fun,
dude. Ridiculous amount of fun. I'm not remotely nervous to going. I'm like I'm anxious to get to class, like because I gotta go Jiu-Jitsu before. It's like, oh, I gotta go Jiu-Jitsu. Just depressed.
Yeah, well, sometimes I feel like I have to go.
Like
not because no. Before it was I have to go because I'll get reprimanded if I don't. Now it's I have to go because my body and brain want to do this.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be more miserable.
I'll be a cranky mother if I don't.
Yeah, for sure. And then it's like before I was like, oh, if I don't go, I'm a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fucking shitty piece of shit.
What are you, pussy?
Yeah, you're a fucking pussy. Now today I'm going. It's like, oh man, I'm really missing out on something good. It's like totally different. It's like I gotta go, man.
Well, usually I can't get there on Mondays.
Yeah.
Work, life, all that stuff, and then so I'm like, man, I'm missing something. This is the start of the week. They're gonna show something, and maybe I can pick it up in a different class later in the week as a review. But man, I'm missing something. I'm missing something here.
Yeah. I like going on Monday. It's like I'm starting my week positive. Like, right. Okay, I got it.
Starting it right. I'm eating my Wheaties.
Yeah, I got the first day in. I at least want to do 3, maybe 4 classes. I'm lucky. Get Monday down. Okay, I got like 6 more days.
1 in the bank.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then I'll work my way. And then sometimes I only get 3. I'm like okay, that's fine. But I got Monday going. You gotta get going.
Gotta get rolling.
But it's fun, and well, for me, like I only do the no-gi, and it's just like once I open my mind to the new meta and no-gi, dude, it's been so fun. It's like so it's inquisitive. I feel inquisitive. I feel like how like the guys that were ahead that were having the most fun in Jiu-Jitsu back in the day when we were training, and they were kind of like, we're like, whoa man, they're so ahead of the game, and they're always having so much fun because that's how they treat it.
It's fun.
Yeah,
it should be fun.
Yeah, and they were just like, yeah, whatever. And those guys were always showing up late. There was a guy, remember the purple belt? He was like, I mentioned his name after, but he had like a really good guard. He had a shaved head. He always came in a suit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nice guard suit, like that guy. He was a market. Oh shit, you got it.
Yeah, that's okay. You got it.
You got it.
It's fine.
Like he was like totally like opposite of like the style, like how we were training. Like great top game, even better guard game with pull guard, but never get reprimanded because his guard was so sick. And he was having the time of his life. Never did any of the warm ups. He was just like whatever. He came in, but he was so good. He didn't care. And then the rest of the other guys that were good, they would always show up for warm ups, and they were just dying. Their bodies were already breaking down. And we were like kind of like emulating that because we're like monkey see, monkey do. Like, well, the other guy, he's an outlier. We can't like be doing that.
Yeah, but somehow he figured out this is how I can survive this and have fun.
And he's just like I remember it's like somebody told me you should do MMA. He's like why? Why should I? It's like, oh, well, you have good kickboxing, you jiu-jitsu is great. He's like, yeah, but I'm just trying to have fun, man.
Yeah. And well, like, he's already rolling up in a nice car and a suit. Like, what does he need to get his head bashed?
He's just here here to. It's like he even said. I remember somebody told him that, like why do you do MMA? He's like, dude, like I already know how to fight. I don't need to go fight other people to prove that I know how to fight. I come here and roll with you guys, and it's like I beat most of you guys up. Like, how many fun? Like, if we got to fight, you're dying.
Yeah, I forget what the MMA fighter said. It's like most people who do MMA have done that. Like, most people don't succeed in MMA. You got to remember that, right?
Yeah.
And most people are not successful, which means most people who are fighting in MMA have made bad life choices, right? And they're forced to fight.
Or they feel like they're missing something in life. They're using fighting as like this compensation.
So the people who the rarities that do succeed are the people you should not use as examples if you want to do this, because that is probably not going to be you.
Yeah.
Right? If it manages to be you, great. Yeah. But like in this guy's case, what's the point?
It was just a part of his life.
Training is a part of his life.
It was
great. He loves it.
It was like an enhancer to his life. It wasn't taking away.
So it's like if you like somebody who works out bodybuilding in a gym, it's like, oh man, you should try for Mr. Olympia. And it's like, why? I don't want to do a fucking boatload of Tren and Anavar and estrogen blockers and
the whole
and HGH, plus start training twice a day, 6 days a week, plus control my diet, plus get a tan, plus shave my body from here all the way down, and learn posing. And it's like,
it's not funny.
Why? It's work.
It's like detrimental to my life.
Yeah, now it's actually taking away from my life to do all this stuff. Why would I do it?
Yeah, it's like I'm not trying to compensate for something. I think like the guys who are like either like they're like outliers, they're just so good at the sport that they chose. They basically are destined, if they really have the heart, to become great. So they should probably, in my opinion, do it. Then there are the other people who are really good at it, but they don't have anything to prove. You know, I think a lot of people use fighting, whether it's MMA, Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, Muay Thai, whatever. One, it's like they need to do it as a livelihood. Maybe like say in like Thailand, you know, they gotta get out of this shit.
Yeah, well, I mean that's why so many great fighters come out of Mexico.
Yeah, but I'm saying in North America, where it's like a first world country, I think the vast majority of people who do MMA in particular, in my opinion, they do MMA as a way to compensate for their demons. Like I remember, like I had my issues with my parents, primarily my dad. Yeah. But once I figured all that out and worked on myself, and like, dude, I lost that chip on my shoulder. I didn't want to fight anymore. I had like no desire to do MMA or anything. I always talk about, I'm gonna do MMA, I'm gonna fight and do pro boxing, whatever, kickboxing. And then now I'm like, I don't have that angst anymore. Once I stopped identifying myself as the guy who did some sort of fighting
martial art.
I threw that away, that tag, that label I put on myself. It was so liberating. Once I got my daddy issues over with, dude, life became great, and then I do it for fun. It's like if I don't do things if it don't enhance my life. Like I go to work to get money so it can enhance my life. Jiu-Jitsu to be able to defend myself and my family, and to have fun while doing it. And for the most part, you take ass ass kicking once in a while, but like, it doesn't take away from my life. No. Ass beating, like this is, it's totally different. I'm not trying to prove myself as a man anymore. Like we're fighting. It's like it's a terrible way to use that as a gauge. Yeah. You don't want to be that guy. And I think too many people
want to be that guy.
I want to be that guy. I want to be the toughest in my group. Yeah. I'm like, dude, that's
the machismo, the alpha.
The alpha. Dude, this is a terrible way. That's not, and then they say, oh yeah, I'm just trying to be the best version of myself. Yes, you are, but that's the underlying issues that you're still using as a way to compensate for something. You don't want to be that guy. Like it'd be disastrous. It's not there's no longevity to that.
No, you will burn out.
You'll burn out because you're always trying to prove like you're the guy, and it's so dumb. It's like the best guys that I roll with, they couldn't give two shits about being the best. They just happen to be really good, and they found a way. There's a guy, probably the second best guy at gym, or third best guy at gym. He's a divorce lawyer. He's like, dude, I'm not trying to fucking go pro anything. He's like, I'll fuck all of you up. But I'm here to have fun, man. I mean,
as a divorce lawyer, it's probably a really great outlet because you have to see a whole bunch of horrible shit.
Yeah.
And deal with people at their worst, I should say.
Yeah, but he loves it because it's like a circus, he said. But anyways, he's not trying to use jiu-jitsu to compensate for anything. It's just a hobby that he's really good at, and he fucks his all up.
I think that's where it comes to balance in your life. And martial arts or any sort of physical activity is meant to balance the rest of your life, not be the identifier of your life.
Yeah. It's, the analogy is better to be a gardener and,
better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Yeah, but you have to remember that warrior that's in the garden would rather be a gardener. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just got
just happens to know how.
Yeah, he just happens to know how to fight
for it.
Yeah, he's having much more fun gardening.
Yes.
And then, that's the thing. You don't want to be that alpha warrior. Dude, is a terrible way to go about your life, man. You're not happy.
You're not Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah. People say, oh, how about those Delta Force guys? Everybody on Delta, like 80% of them are fucking divorced. Like they have defined themselves by their job, which obviously, like, there's no way. They're 10 times the man I am, for sure. But I'm just saying, they're not exactly the happiest fucking people to be hanging around with.
Yeah, you listen to a bunch of the spec ops guys that get out and they're like,
not everybody's Tim Kennedy, okay? He's not everybody's having fucking multi-millionaire. Yeah, he's a special type of guy.
He's his own.
Yeah,
he's his own
everybody's
unique
him.
category. But like you listen to some of the others, like, yeah, no, I had to get out because if I didn't get out, I would have turned into this guy.
Or
like
shot
30 year
myself.
or shot myself.
Yeah.
Because you can only do it for so long, and if you don't do it for so long, you're going to end up alone.
Yeah, because you're operating on such an intense level. It's not sustainable unless you're like borderline sociopath. Yeah, there's a few guys that I forgot. Tim Kennedy talks about him. He mentioned he has his own podcast now. Forgot his name. He's a true He's a borderline sociopath. Like when war happened, he's been
like,
on.
Yes,
Dude, he's like I don't have PTSD. I'm not saying none of my guys have PTSD because, like when you get your first kill with me, we take you out. We celebrate. We get the PTSD. It's like I don't have any. It's like I love war.
Well, I mean, evolutionarily speaking,
is a true sociopath.
Yeah, but evolutionarily speaking,
those
people needed to exist.
Oh yeah, no, I have nothing against them.
Like in a tribe, you needed like 3 or 4 of those dudes who are going to go off and fuck shit up to protect your tribe and come back and be relatively normal, right? Like they're on the edge of normal, but they're not going to like do extra weird shit to your people. But you need them to be able to go out and fuck up other people and come back and be relatively normal speaking, right? But since we're operating on such a huge scale, especially militarily, there is 1 in 1,000, 10,000 that can actually do that.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of the guys in Special Forces are like, I've been doing this for 30 years. I fucking hate it. I'm divorced 3 times with 6 kids, but I can't get out.
Because they define themselves too.
And it's because you define yourself, but you're not that guy. You're not that guy who can sustain that.
Yeah, and also when they leave it, they're still trying to be the it.
They're still trying to operate as if they were in that zone.
Exactly. I see these other guys on YouTube, they're former like Navy SEALs and stuff. The ones who are successful, they've left it behind. They use their experience to now for their business and whatnot and their life, but they're like completely like, I'm not a Navy SEAL anymore. I'm a former Navy SEAL. I'm former Delta, and I have a business. I do this for my YouTube channel. I do this for my other business, etc. I took all those life skills and tried to apply it as best I can here. I'm not defined.
There's one dude I like listening to. His name's Buck, I think, and he does they do military movie reviews as a side part.
There's 2 of them, right?
Yeah,
I know them.
Yeah, I like they're great. But I love his Buck's like, I have PTSD. I have so much PTSD. Holy fuck. I had to leave. I became a cop, and I'm like, I can't do that anymore either. Fuck this. Yeah. And luckily, this worked out. But man, I know some psychos. Yeah,
exactly.
He's the example of that's the guy who redefined himself and got out and turned what he knew into something advantageous. But he also fully admits that, and I'm not speaking for him. I'm just sort of regurgitating what he's like. It could have been really bad. Yeah, it could have been really bad.
Yeah, and in the context of jiu-jitsu or just fighting in general, you got people trying to live that life. They're trying to be the alpha jiu-jitsu guy. They'll be alpha MMA guy. They want to be defined by that.
And you find that in all sorts of martial arts.
And it feels great. You think about the glory, but dude, the path there can be quite the dark path. Yeah. You do not want to take that path. Yeah. You have not the chances of it enhancing your life going that route is so minuscule. It's it's not going to enhance your life the way you think it does.
And this goes for I think most sports too. It can't be you can't rely your soul on that sport. The sport just has to be part of what you do. Yeah,
it's like these old heads that punch drunk. They're still at the boxing gym. They're like, back in my day, they're so fucked up. The sport has
what's his name got shit for saying I don't spar anymore? He doesn't do live sparring. There's an MMA fighter.
Well, you mean Max Holloway?
Holloway, thank you.
Nobody's going to really shit him. He's a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he doesn't really spar anymore now because he's so fucking good. He's accumulated. He just doesn't do much of that because he doesn't need to. I can hit enough during a fucking
fight. What I was saying is that there's still the old timers being like, well, you should be sparring anyways. You should get hit in the face and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, no, I'm good.
I'm not trying to be retarded.
I was talking to so there's a young guy I know. He's 19. He was getting into weightlifting, so he asked us for some advice. We did a couple training sessions together.
Nice, that's good.
Right, he wants to be a fireman. And I'm like, okay, here's how you
Is he in
develop
shape?
some strength. He's getting in shape. He's okay. He's got a ways to go, but he's okay.
That's a really tough job.
Yeah, it is a really tough job. I'm like, are you running? He's like, yeah, like 4 or 5 times a week.
Really running?
Really running? I don't run. I'm not a runner. I never liked it, but like you need to if that's what you know I'm doing. I'll show you how to build some strength.
We know a couple firefighters.
Yeah.
One in particular is a fucking specimen.
Yeah.
That's what you're up against.
Jesus, yeah. But I was talking to him. He's like, which martial art? Like, if you were going to get into martial art, like, what would you get into? I'm like, well, I mean, you can do the striking sports, but I just don't want to get hit in the head, and I don't think you do either. So I would choose wrestling or jiu-jitsu or
judo,
some sort of grappling sport if you want to learn a martial art, because a couple times after getting hit in the face, like,
yeah, dude,
it's
the headaches are terrible.
The headaches are terrible.
When I was training with Tony Pep,
yeah,
for a couple years, dude, the fucking migraines were just insane. I would go like this a little bit, and my head would kill me. Yeah. Kill me. And honestly, though, what would make it hurt less was getting hit in the head.
Well, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, and then
it's just making things worse in the long run.
It feel better after sparring. It will hurt. Like, it won't hurt as much. But then 2 hours later, oh god.
I'm like, dude, that's why like people are like, I learned how to box. I'm like, I don't think you did. You did cardio kickboxing. That's what you did. You did some Taibo shit, because if you really learn how to box, one of the things you will have to do is spar, and there's gentler ways of sparring, but you're still going to get tapped.
Yeah, and people say, oh, you have to spar lightly. Dude, sometimes it's not my choice. I'm just not good enough, and he's better than me, and I'm going to get a spar. And
the thing is, like, there's no light way to get hit in the face.
Yeah,
not really.
Because
like, even if you tap you, you're still getting hit in the face.
You're still getting fucking. Even if he decides to slap you with the gloves, you're still getting hurt.
That's why I think slap fighting is stupid.
No, let's not talk about that. That's so dumb.
All right, we're gonna just roll right over that one.
I never want to fucking talk about this.
Slap wars or whatever.
I'm trying to enhance my mind and avoid brain damage. Okay.
Yeah.
Not trying to get early onset like dementia like over here.
Yeah.
Dude,
nah, it's not good.
Dude, that's stupid. You don't see anybody intelligent do that sport. That's so stupid. Why don't you just fucking do boxing? Just box.
Oh, because then you actually have to have cardio
or skill. Like, why don't you just fucking do bare knuckle boxing, which I think is fucking awesome. Like, personally, I wouldn't do bare knuckle because, dude, my hands would break.
You just break your fist.
Oh, I'm too much of a bitch to. I would say straight up, my hands would shatter. I'd be like, oh, tap out. I'm not tough enough to do that. Dude, do bare knuckle. Do regular boxing. Fuck.
Regular boxing. Yeah.
Kickboxing. Anything.
Yeah.
Why would you purposely slap yourself?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's okay. We're gonna
We kind of went
this is gonna be a 4-hour podcast if we go after that. But like, do things that enhance your life. Slap wars does not.
No,
does not.
It's
slap
fucking
fights.
Power slap. Yeah.
No.
This is dumb.
Fucking stupid.
You see, he should have invested his money not in power slap. He should have invested into a jiu-jitsu league of his own. Imagine UFC they have the UFC fight pass.
Yeah.
But they could have made it bigger. Because like the power slap gets so much views and
it's
money.
Because it's so dumb. People are like, I can't believe I'm watching this.
It's a clown show. It's like almost like
you
watch it. Yeah, you can't. It's a train wreck. You can't watch. And there's so much bravado between the guys. They're like talking shit. Dude, you're standing there slapping each
just
other.
as entertaining to me? Arm wrestling.
No, I like arm wrestling.
No, I'm saying I like it. I'm saying I like it.
I respect
arm
wrestling.
Like, on the entertainment factor, I think arm wrestling should be higher than slap fight.
Dude, I watch arm wrestling before I came out from
Jiu-Jitsu.
I was like, do you know like Devin LaRat? Dude, I love him. Dude, he's my favorite. Dude, he's my favorite guy. He's Canadian too. About. He's awesome.
Like,
dude, I learned so much from them.
That requires leverage, skill,
dude, like for the
and you don't get hit in the face.
Yeah, you tear your fucking bicep off. Yeah. Dude, these guys are.
You tore your bicep off.
Yeah. I didn't even fucking arm wrestle. Dude, that. I actually appreciate arm wrestling. So I really admire their fucking arm strength.
Yeah, and the tendon strength.
Dude,
and
dude, it must be impossible to armbar them, or near impossible.
Probably.
Just
go for the heel.
Yeah,
just go for the heel. It's weaker.
Yeah.
No, but like that's what I'm saying. It's like you have slap wars or whatever the fuck it's called, which is just power slap, whatever. It was just, and then you have, which is, there might be some technique. I'm probably sure there is, but it's just I'm going to stand there and take it, or you have arm wrestling, which is actually more skilled.
It's more technical,
more technical than you think, and it's just as entertaining to watch, if not more so.
Way more entertaining.
It's the same feeling.
There is literally more crossover from arm wrestling training than for grappling at least than there is power slapping to any sport. Like, dude, if you took the greatest power slapper of all time and they taught you his technique, like, there's a zero crossover to any sport. Like, whatever slapping power that you can muster up, Francis Ngannou's fucking punch is gonna pulverize that. Okay? Whatever, man. Closed fist.
Yeah.
The slap will. If Francis Ngannou wanted to slap
Ngannou
you,
gets to hit people who are trying to hit him.
And the void.
So he needs to dodge, duck.
Yeah.
They don't just... Can you imagine somebody just standing in front of Ngannou and being like, hit me as hard as you can? Well, if you want to die...
Yeah.
If you want to die, sure.
Yeah, dude. The guy dropped Tyson Fury. Like, twice, I think, right?
Twice,
yeah, dude.
Twice.
Dude, that's fucking something, man. Like...
Well, yeah, and he snapped Overeem's head back like a cannonball.
Dude, Jesus Christ! I know Joshua knocked out Ngannou, but that was kind of like.
Well, he knocked him down. I don't think he didn't knock him out.
Yeah, he did. He was like on. It was a
TKO.
Like like TKO, but he was like flopping around.
Yeah. He was discombobulated for sure.
But I'm just saying, like, dude, like, at heavyweight, that's like fucking anyway.
Well, there's two things to think about that. I think Fury took the fight a little light.
He didn't realize that.
He didn't realize the power behind Ngannou.
Yeah.
Whereas Joshua got to see that and was like, never mind, I'm bringing my A game.
And he's also a specimen himself. Like,
yeah, Joshua's fucking nuts.
Yeah, they're both fucking like knockout phenoms. So like, yeah.
Yeah, and when you're restricted in a sport like boxing, which does restrict you quite a bit on what you're allowed to do.
Yeah, you can only throw forward punches, no spinning back fist, no Superman punches, nothing, no elbows. If they took away clinching, people forgot back in the day, like you used to fucking clinch in boxing. Before, you fucking feed.
Oh yeah, dirty boxing.
Yeah, that was part of the rules back then.
Yeah, no, I thought you were talking about the heavyweights after like Tyson and Lewis, who would punch, power, clinch.
Oh yeah,
jab, power, clinch.
The Klitschko days.
That was real boring heavyweight shit.
Dude, no, heavyweights were fluid back then. Even Lennox, man.
Lennox, that like left hook jab thing he threw all the time.
Straight right hammer down.
Yeah, it would just be like this. You think it's a jab, but then it kind of comes around the outside and just taps you, puts your face right in line for his...
Yeah, heavyweights actually had that
tree
footwork.
Trunk, yeah.
Yeah, they treated heavyweights the same as lightweights. Like, you're gonna move.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was different.
Those are good days. But yeah, you're talking about in like the 60s and 70s.
No, this is like the 1910s, 1920s. They were clinching still. Like, you got like you can still hold the fucking head. And it's all pictures, and then you can do overhooks. You can overhook the head and fucking just feed. Dude, it was great.
I was thinking of the 60s and 70s where, like, whenever you got in the clinch, you got a couple free ones.
Yeah, now
because they do it, and then the referee would come and break it up.
Yeah.
But now, like, you can't even do that.
It's kind of like
deduct a point.
Yeah. Now it's kind of like basketball today. Like, you got these soft fouls and stuff. Back in the day, you get Michael Jordan getting clothesline, fucking flying through the air. You get clothesline.
Yeah,
it's just a regular foul.
You got Larry Bird getting tripped all over the place.
Yeah, the elbows to the face, dude. They were just regular fouls. Now you got flagrant fouls. You got like these like straight up technical fouls out of the game. Back then, it was just like, okay, that's your first foul.
And I get that they're doing it more. They're putting in more restrictions for the safety of the athletes.
But it's the reason why but athletes weren't really complaining about that. It's just like the people watching were complaining. So, But why are you complaining? Then you complain that it's soft. Are you placating to the fucking... Who are you complaining... Like, is it because the bunch of women, no offense, that like fucking like complain that, oh, it's too violent and a bunch of soft men. That's lots of offense.
Well, that's why they're taking fighting out of hockey.
They took fighting out of hockey?
They haven't.
Fuck that.
But it kind of started with Bertuzzi when he hit that guy in the back of the head.
Okay, well, that's a back head. Just bad punching people from
bad behavior, poor behavior. When they really crack down, like if you're watching hockey nowadays, the likelihood you're actually going to see a fight is really minimal because they crack down on it a lot.
That's stupid.
And they've meted out like dual penalties to both fighters, regardless of who instigated or who wins. Sometimes you might get a 4-minute for excessive roughing in a fight, and it's like, so they've really like hammered it down.
So
like,
stupid.
no, we want a pure skill game, and they've
fighting
sort of removed that element from hockey.
Fighting is a skill.
Well, yeah, I know.
Fighting is a skill.
My point is, like, within hockey, they want the they've sort of tried to turn it closer to Olympic style hockey. Where Olympic style hockey, you have no fighting. You fight in Olympic hockey, you're banned. You're out. You're not allowed to play. Right? So, like, you'll never see a fight at the Olympic level. But then again, in NHL, you will see fight from now on then, but a lot less than you used to. Like, bruisers and enforcers don't really exist in the same way.
No, I believe that every single sport should allow fight. Even fucking tennis. Throw the racket across. Fucking fly over there and go for a takedown.
Fucking hilarious.
Dude, throw it. Tennis, ping pong, fucking throw your little fucking wooden
paddle.
thing. Fucking flip the table or do it. Like, people say, oh, that's barbaric. Dude, what the fuck? These people who complain about fighting in any sports, like, oh, you can't fight, that's not, kids shouldn't fight. I'm like, you're the, when danger comes to you, you think, like, you're not going to be violent. Dude, maybe you won't, but you proxied out your violence to somebody else. They're called the police. So you're still, every single time, you're still choosing violence. You're just too much of a bitch to do it yourself.
What's that on the line? It's like,
that's it. And fuck you guys. Fuck that, man.
Well, yeah. I remember saying to somebody when I was in university, and they're like, violence doesn't solve anything. I'm like, no, violence is the permanent solution.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? I'm like, you can't debate me if I kill you. Well, you'll go to jail. Yeah, but you still can't debate me.
Yeah,
you're dead.
That's not the point.
And the only reason I go to jail is because our society is deemed to. Anglo-Saxons, if I murdered you because we had a disagreement, I went to my neighbor and I said, I murdered this person because they did this, that, and the other thing. That person would go to the judge, which there was no judges back then, and be like, this is why I killed Jim. And they'd be like, yeah. All right, have a good day.
That's good reason.
Move on.
Yeah, maybe.
We don't allow that anymore because that leads to blood feuds, and that's goes off in a whole different direction of shit with suffering. But
but there needs to be a little bit of that because
there needs to be some sort of threat involved.
It's like
right?
If I get in a dispute with my neighbor and he's a complete asshat, and then I have to fucking slap him around a little bit to show him some respect, and then he stops being an asshat. And now we can be amicable, like
there
neighbors.
is something to it where people are like, well, women are more civilized than men. Yeah, in a sense, they rely more on speech. Fine.
No,
However,
they're just worse at fighting.
I was going to say, when men get together, the reason we're civil with each other is because there's always a threat of violence somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. Regardless of
that's why we're super nice to Mr. 64300.
Yeah,
because we know because if he decides that he hates us,
no matter how good I am at fighting, I'm going to be nice to this man.
Yes,
right.
It needs to be a certain level of respect.
So it's a funny thing when you teach men martial arts. You create the monster, but you also create the ability for that man to control the monster. And when you have more of that, you have less. You actually have less physical altercations. And a black belt on YouTube said it best when a white belt was like, what if I charge and do this? And he's like, no, I'm not going to. Nope. I'm just going to walk away. This isn't important. You spilled a beer on me. I don't care this much. Why? Because I now know the ramifications of what happens when we fight. I know the actual brutality of it. So I'm not going to waste my life on whatever garbage this is.
But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it violently.
Yeah, and like right at the end of the video, it's like, well, what if I threaten your family? Whole different situation.
You are
You are going to hurt.
Like, I'm going to make this worth it. If I'm going to prison, it will be worth it. Because
it's the difference.
And then it will be the end of discussion.
Exactly.
That's how it should be. But there's too many people.
But that's how why most men walk past each other, and we're generally civil.
Yeah.
We know the ramifications of what happens if we get in an actual fight.
They don't know.
Not all men. They're still idiots.
You've been with groups of people, and then this guy is. This guy is like, if a push comes to shove, this guy's gonna get murdered.
Yeah.
But he's too dumb, too ignorant, too arrogant.
Realize it.
Yeah. To realize that. Just because you see red, dude, when you see red, you know why you see red? It's because that's your blood.
Your blood pressure. Your blood pressure's up, and you're gonna gas
your blood
out.
Because you'll be bleeding out.
Oh yeah, that's what you meant.
That's what I meant.
I thought you were going with the out of control.
Yeah, that red you see is your own blood. Like, you're dying. Okay, you don't know me when you don't know the rest of us.
I can't do martial arts. I'm too dangerous. Bullshit,
dude. You're not 6'4", 300. Okay, you're not too dangerous. Okay, don't worry about it.
No, I mean, like, maybe if it's the big show, 7 foot, 400, Brian Shaw, 6'8", 400, like...
I'm not fighting Brian Shaw.
No.
I will fucking never fight any guy that size.
But,
dude.
like, You're not
Not without a
Brian
gun.
Shaw.
Not without a gun.
The elephant gun.
I trained with a couple cops,
Yeah.
and they're like straight up like, I'm like talking about like what's the legality, what's the protocol if like someone charges you like when you can go for your gun and stuff like that. So yeah, if it's just like a regular sized guy, about the same time, I'm not gonna take my gun out unless he reaches for it or like he fucking has a actual
Canadian
weapon.
police officers.
But then he's like, but I'm like, how about if Mr. 6'4", 300 charges you? Oh, that's a totally different. I'm taking my gun out. He's like,
back the fuck up,
dude. That's like one morning and straight. I'm gonna blast. I'm gonna unload a clip. I'm like, are you serious? Yeah. I'm like, can you justify that? He's like 6'4", 300 charging on you. Yeah, I can justify that. Like, dude, look at him. Like, look at that.
Yeah, I mean, it takes some discretion.
Yeah, that's the discretion.
But that's why
right?
they're getting. That's why our police forces.
It's hard to be police.
It's hard to be police.
Welcome to Canada. You fucking walk on eggshells.
One of my cousin's sons just became a police officer. He's doing his initial tour. No, he's finished training.
Oh, yeah.
He's now on the street.
Nice.
He's a constable. It took him like 6 years.
To get comfortable.
No, to become a constable.
Oh, they dick him around with that program. I know a couple guys that are like.
I don't know what he went through, but I know he had to like. He had to get the physical requirements. He had to get the educational requirements. He had to get the process. Yeah. He had to get vetted. He had to do like. I've known a couple guys who've become cops.
It's harder.
And they're VPD. They're one's RCMP. Mm-hmm. Two are VPD. Yeah. It's fucking hard up here.
It's an arduous process now.
Yeah, they really put you through it.
Yeah, but they also do a couple of them. There's the guy I'm talking about. He's RCMP, and another guy he's VPD. They were talking about like. There's still a lot of like nepotism or anything.
Sure, of course.
And they have adopted in some aspects the DEI stuff. Mm. If you are a lesbian, just apply now. You're going to get a job real quick. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But here's the one thing I'll say about that, at least with regards to the training that I know of, and I'm not an expert in any of the compared to becoming, say, part of the sheriff's office in like buttfuck nowhere, Nebraska.
It's a 3-month course.
Much better training. Up here. Yeah. Much better training. Much better de-escalation training. Just in general, and yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think you need to be. You're still gonna get dicks. Like you're gonna get. Regardless, you're gonna get people who. And you got to remember they're human too. Like they might be having a bad day, they might be power tripping, they might be whatever, right? No amount of training is going to really solve that problem.
No, like how many of you guys like fucking like watching like are like assholes on the daily? I'm a fucking asshole. Like thank God I'm not a dick. I'm a dick. Like you seen the way I talk? Can you imagine me fucking losing my shit as a cop? But like. There are people out there. There are like 1,000 cops. There's going to be at least like 50 or 60 that are like just complete assholes. And then people say, "Oh, but they should know better." Yeah.
Yeah, but they're still people.
They're still people. They're still fucking dickheads. They're like look how many asshole coworkers that you work with. And if you don't have any asshole coworkers, that means you're the fucking asshole. You're the piece of shit. So yeah.
It is what it is. Yeah, I think we should wrap this one up.
Yeah, we would. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Yes.
We'll catch you on the next one.
It's good.
Peace.